The 9 to 5 job is an anomaly of history. It's a blip. If you look at the timeline of human existence, for 99.9% of our history, we were hunters and gatherers. We worked in bursts. We followed the rhythms of nature. We were entrepreneurs of survival. Then, about 300 years ago, we invented the Industrial Revolution. We built massive machines, factories, and these factories needed something very specific to run efficiently. They needed standardized parts. And the most important standardized part was the human being. We needed people to show up at the same time, leave at the same time, stand in the same place, and do the same repetitive motion over and over again. We traded our natural rhythms for the clock. We traded autonomy for a steady paycheck. We invented the job. For a while, this social contract worked. You give the corporation 40 hours of obedience a week, and the corporation gives you stability, a pension, and a middle-class life. But that contract is broken. It's expired. We are now living through the great decoupling, the decoupling of time from wealth creation, the decoupling of location from work. Most people sense this. They feel the anxiety in the system. They see layoffs in massive tech companies while simultaneously seeing 19-year-olds become millionaires writing code in their bedrooms. They feel like they are running faster on a treadmill just to stay in the same place. They are right to feel anxious. The old map doesn't fit the new territory. The 9 to 5 isn't just dying because bosses are greedy or because the economy is bad. It's dying because the fundamental physics of how value is created have shifted. If you are still operating on the old model, renting out your time for money, you are swimming upstream against the most powerful currents in history: technology, leverage, and globalization. Today, we are going to dismantle why the 9 to 5 is obsolete, and then we are going to build a framework for what replaces it. Why is the job dying? Fundamentally, a traditional job is based on a linear relationship. Inputs match outputs. You put in 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. If you work on an assembly line, your output is limited by the speed of the conveyor belt and the number of hours you can physically stand there. In the industrial age, this made sense. Capital was scarce, machines were expensive, labor was plentiful and fungible, meaning one worker was easily replaceable by another. In that world, the only way to get rich was to own the factory. Everyone else was just renting time. Enter the internet. Enter software. Enter artificial intelligence. We have moved from an economy based on atoms to an economy based on bits. When you work with bits, when you write code, create media, build algorithms, the relationship between input and output breaks. A software engineer can work for an hour and write a piece of code that saves a company $10 million a year. Another engineer might work for a month and produce nothing of value. A podcaster can record for 2 hours and reach 10 million people. A teacher in a classroom can work for those same 2 hours and reach 30 people. The inputs are the same, the outputs are astronomically different. The moment inputs and outputs decouple, paying people by the hour becomes nonsensical, it becomes inefficient for the employer and insulting to the high performer. If you are highly creative, highly technical, or highly specialized, the 9 to 5 structure is a cage. It caps your upside while demanding your conformity. Text overlay. Technology democratizes consumption but consolidates production. There is another force at play here, the consolidation of production. Technology democratizes consumption. Everyone gets an iPhone. Everyone gets Google Maps for free. But technology consolidates production. Because of the internet, the best provider in the world is just a click away. If you want to listen to music, you don't hire the local bard, you stream the best musician on earth on Spotify. This creates a winner-take-all or winner-take-most dynamic. In the old world, every town needed a mediocre accountant, a mediocre cobbler, a mediocre lawyer. Their geography protected them from competition. Today, geography is dead. If your job involves sitting in front of a computer processing information, you are competing with everyone on earth who has an internet connection. And soon, you are competing with an AI that costs fractions of a cent to operate. The mediocre middle is being hollowed out. If your job can be taught to someone else easily, it will be outsourced to a cheaper location. If it can be codified into a set of rules, it will be automated by software. The 9 to 5 was the habitat of the mediocre middle, and that habitat is disappearing. Part 2, the trap of renting time. Text on screen, you will never get rich renting out your time. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth about the traditional career path. You will never get rich renting out your time. Rich doesn't necessarily mean buying Ferraris. Rich means having the freedom to stop doing things you don't want to do. It means autonomy. Why can't you get rich by renting your time? Because your time is limited. It doesn't scale. You only have 24 hours in a day. Even if you are a high-paid lawyer charging $1,000 an hour, if you stop working, the money stops flowing. You are a highly paid wage slave. True wealth is created through ownership. It's created through equity. Equity is a piece of a business. It's a claim on future cash flows. When you own equity, your money works for you while you sleep. The 9 to 5 model is designed to separate you from equity. It is designed to give you a wage, which is the minimum amount necessary to keep you showing up while the owners of the enterprise capture the upside. Pause. Society has programmed you to believe this is safe. Your parents told you, get a good job, be loyal, climb the ladder. That advice made sense in 1970. Today, it is dangerous. Relying on a single salary from a single employer is the definition of fragility. You have a single point of failure. If that boss decides they don't like you, or if that company gets disrupted by a kid in a garage, your livelihood vanishes overnight. The safe path is actually the riskiest path. The risky path, starting a business, building a product, acquiring skills that the market desperately needs, is actually the safer path in the long run, because you are in control. We are shifting from a world of employees to a world of sovereign individuals. A sovereign individual operates like a one-person company. They might interface with large organizations, but they do so as a consultant, a contractor, or a creator, someone who is paid for results, not for presence. They don't want a job, they want an outcome. So if the 9 to 5 is dying, what do you do? How do you survive and thrive in this new environment? You need a new operating system. The goal is to disconnect your inputs from your outputs. The goal is to move from labor to leverage. The summary of this new path is 2 words: productize yourself. Let's break that down. Yourself means specific knowledge. You have to figure out what you are uniquely good at. What is the thing that feels like play to you, but looks like work to others? This isn't just follow your passion. Passion is too vague. Specific knowledge is weird. It's usually a combination of 2 or 3 things that don't normally go together. Maybe you're good at computer science, but you also understand watercolor painting, and you have a deep knowledge of supply chain logistics. At the intersection of those 3 things, there is no competition. You are the only one there. You can't be trained for your specific knowledge. If you could be trained for it, someone else could be trained to replace you. You have to discover it through trial and error by following your genuine intellectual curiosity. Specific knowledge is highly technical or highly creative. It cannot be outsourced or automated easily. Once you have specific knowledge, you need accountability. In a 9 to 5, accountability is diffused. If a project fails, it's the team's fault. If it succeeds, the boss takes the credit. To escape the 9 to 5, you must step into the light. You must take risks under your own name. You must say, I am responsible for this outcome. Society rewards accountability with equity. People who take risks get paid. Finally, you need leverage. Productize means applying leverage to your specific knowledge. Archimedes said, give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. In the modern economy, there are 4 types of leverage. Other people working for you. This is the oldest form. It's messy and competitive. Capital, money. Using money to make more money. This is powerful, but you need money to get started. The new economy is driven by the last 2 forms of leverage. I call them permissionless leverage. Nobody has to give you permission to use them. If you can write software, you can create an army of robots that work for you 24/7 while you sleep. The marginal cost of adding another user to your software is near zero. This is content. Writing books, recording podcasts, making videos. You create it once and it can be consumed by millions forever. This video you are watching right now is media leverage. I am doing the work once. Whether 1,000 people watch it or 1,000,000 people watch it, my effort is the same. The ultimate goal is to combine your specific knowledge with code or media leverage. When you do that, you have productized yourself. You have created something that scales without requiring your presence. You have disconnected time from money. The death of the 9-to-5 is painful for society. It is causing massive disruption, but for the individual willing to wake up, it is the greatest opportunity in human history. Never before has it been easier to learn. All the world's knowledge is free on the internet. Never before has it been easier to build. You can spin up servers, access AI tools, and reach a global market from your laptop. The barriers to entry have collapsed, but the barriers to success have shifted. The new barrier is psychological. Do you have the discipline to learn continuously? Do you have the courage to take accountability? Do you have the patience to build leverage over years rather than demanding a paycheck next Friday? The 9-to-5 was a finite game. You play to survive. The new world is an infinite game. You play to learn, to build, and to achieve freedom. Don't wait for someone to give you a job. Don't wait for permission. Arm yourself with specific knowledge. Take accountability. Apply leverage. Build things people want. That is the only job security that exists anymore.